Hey, it's me, Mr. Viking Bob. So let's talk about the cycle and its future. I should also add why I would want to talk about it. I want us, as the community, to be able to converse and discuss about the development in a civil manner, and to be able to express our opinions about the game we all know and love. There will be a lot of changes for this game, and not everyone will enjoy them. And we will try to take a look at that today. Also, a big disclaimer. English is not my native language, so I apologize about that in beforehand. First off, if you have no idea what the cycle is, this video might be a bit overwhelming, but I'll try to sum up the game for you before we start talking about the deep stuff. The cycle is a player versus environment type of game, where you drop into a match with 20 other players called prospectors, and try to complete contracts for a high score called victory point. But the twist is that every other player are doing the same thing. And it's a race to get the most points and survive. When you spawn in, you have your pistol and one extra life to begin with, and you earn in-match credits to call down your items from your loadout. Your loadout you have purchased at the station for K marks. And then you just rinse and repeat every match, and the higher up in the scoreboard you get, the more K marks you get from each match. I will say it's not a battle royale, even though it can sometimes look like it. Now, let's get into some of the depths of the game and what it's trying to develop into. This game is currently in its toddler state of the development cycle. Pun intended. Which means it's still in early access. A lot of things will change of how we play this game. For better or for worse, that is a matter of opinion for you as the player to decide on your own. What it looks like, this change may come sooner rather than later. The development team have been looking into revamping this game from a less arcadey type to a bit more of a hardcore style game. The main changes will basically make this a space copy of Escape from Tarkov. Now, I may be a bit biased, since you can clearly see in my intros that I do play Escape from Tarkov, and I do enjoy that game. But I think this change to the cycle is actually going to be a good one. It will add a different kind of challenge to what the game currently already is. For an example, you will have only one life. This will force players to play more carefully and assess situations a bit more. Or you'll get foamed. Now, this could possibly be tweaked. Maybe have the option to have a battery in your loadout, but make it very expensive and clearly not as strong as it currently is. And maybe even make it possible that when you drop it on the ground, anyone who doesn't have a battery can pick it up and use it themselves. Kind of like a double-edged sword. Spawning in with your loadout instead of just your pistol will make it so the farming aspect of the game, where you have to farm in the early to mid game to get your weapons before anyone else, well, non-existent. And we all know how dead the game can feel when you just have to farm for those 500 or 200 credit weapons. Am I right? I might be wrong, but just my opinion. The developers also talked about more dangerous monsters. They want to make the native life forms of the planet more dangerous, with increased damage. Now, this I personally like. I want to have that Left 4 Dead feeling when I get swarmed by a bunch of dangerous alien life form. Anyone who've ever played Left 4 Dead knows how scary and intense it can get when the tank spawns in. Now imagine that fear when you see a brute instead. The aliens will no longer just be a bullet sponge, but an actual threat that you as the player has to assess and strategize against. Now add in the fear of another player showing up who might want to try to take you out, or possibly even help you out because of the new difficulty increase. Now this just screams interesting encounters. Another thing is more than one evac zone, and also that you will be able to evac whenever you want. Now this is a big twist. Currently you can only evac in the end of the game, in the middle of the map. But what this change will do is that you as the player can actually pre-plan before you spawn into a game. Okay, what do I want to do this match? Do I want to grab some quick K marks and get out? Do I want to hunt down another player and collect their stuff? Or do I just want to finally finish this story mission once and for all, get out safely? Lastly, what the developers have touched on is that with the gear spawning change, they will try to make it so when you die, you might lose your stuff permanently and have to buy it again at the station. And for an example, let's say you evac with someone else's stuff and you really don't want to have that. You could probably just sell them at the station to get some K marks for it. This way they will add that money sink in the game that they desperately kinda needed. So I can see why they might do it. This will be a bit of a touchy subject, I think. Because there's a lot of players out there that might not have a lot of K marks and are struggling to farm up their K marks to purchase their weapons. But there's also these players that have so much K marks that they don't really care what they spend their K marks on. And this is kind of one of the things that happens when you buy your weapon and you have it for good. But that will all go away if they change it. And one way to tackle this issue, so even the less active and the more active players can feel satisfied with this change, is that maybe making the guns cheaper, or maybe adding in a faction level discount. When you got your factions to level 10, there will be a big discount for the weapons. The possibilities are kinda endless here if you ask me, and I have the faith in the developers that they will come up with a good system. I would really enjoy to hear what you guys think about all of this, and of course what suggestions you might have for the game. And remember, the development team do listen to the community, so sharing is caring. Lastly, I want to point out that this will really change the game if it gets implemented as a new core game mechanic. And I know a lot of you love the arcadey feel the game have right now. What with the high VP score games and trying to hit that first place in every match. I do like that myself as well. In a perfect world, I think the dev team would have liked to have both the game as it is now and the other new idea as well as a different game mode that you can just queue up to if you felt like it. Now this is what I think they might have wanted to do, because this is what I would have done. But this would split the player base into practically two different games. And this would indeed affect the queue times, and sadly probably make the game feel kinda dead, because the player base isn't big enough to have both the cake and the pie, as of yet. So if they do make this change from what it is now to Escape from Fortuna 3, I do really hope for the future that they will bring back this game mode as well, when the player base is big enough. Because how the game is right now is goddamn fun. That's all I got to say about that. Now for my opinion in the push they are making, if I haven't been clear about that yet, I will be that now. I personally look forward to test this Escape from Fortuna 3 update with an optimistic outlook. And if it doesn't really kick off too well, I just want to say that, dear development team, it is never too late to turn back. But in all honesty, we should always give it a honest try, give the devs some fair critique and good feedback when we have had a chance to try it in the public test server, when they actually do that. This might be an unpopular opinion, I know, but that's just how I roll. For I love what this game is now, and I know I would love what it could be as well. Because of the community, the development team, and the game itself is probably one of the best ones I've seen in a while. And don't forget the cycle will make it to Steam as well, sometime this year in December. So if you're interested about that, go ahead and put it in your wish list on Steam to stay updated on it. I'd like to thank you for staying to the end of this rambling madman that I am, and to tell you to share your opinions down below in the comments. And if you agree with me, go ahead and throw me that like. And if you don't really agree with me, like maybe say you disagree with me, feel free to dislike this video as well. It's just fair, am I right? And lastly, I would really appreciate it if you were to subscribe to my channel, since I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers before October 1st. If I do this, I will eat a ghost pepper chili, and of course I'll upload it here on my channel for you to watch. I should also add that there will be some links down in the description box of this video that it's worth your time to check out if you would want to know more about the upcoming updates. Now that's all for now, folks. See you around, and goodbye! Wow!
Now buckle up. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.